Once again everyone, and welcome back. But this time I'm going to be doing something just a bit different from my usual. Yes, this week instead of some album or movie or something else, this week we're going to be taking a look at a YouTube Red series, that being Cobra Kai. And as such, from this point onwards, I shall be referred to as Sensei Nat, even if I don't know karate, though this show makes me wish I did. Now, this may seem odd that I, of all people, would watch this show and all. Sure, I love the Karate Kid movies, but I wasn't the biggest fan, so I don't remember many names or such. But I still knew I had a love for the movies. They were really good movies, and I enjoyed watching them. However, this year, YouTube released a series for their YouTube Red feature called Cobra Kai. It's where Johnny and Daniel have went about for years living on their own lives, and now we meet up with them again after all these years later. Let's begin. The show is split over 10 episodes in its first run. The episodes chronicle the story mainly from Johnny's perspective and how his life has turned out since the tournament over 30 years ago from the first movie. He is, well, a wreck, to say the least. Also, I would like to point out the series isn't for the most general of audiences. There are quite a few mature themes, so be warned of that. But yes, Johnny's life is a mess, and he eventually is influenced to get his life back together and open back up Cobra Kai. These first few episodes really made me feel for him. I know he's an awful person, especially how he acts, but there's just something deep down that makes me feel bad for him. He has a hard life, especially with his stepfather, among much more. The series does give hints to the events that have made him who he is. Things are made much more rough when his own son arrives into the series. Johnny was never able to be there for his son as he grew up, so the strain on their relationship is quite devastating. Johnny is slowly brought to realize the mistakes of his life, and this does accumulate in him trying to make amends eventually, even as many other sad stories go on. Here's where I shall speak about Daniel's side of the story. He is a rich husband and has life set for him. Nothing could be greater, loving family and all the wealth he could ever need, and then some. However, he is still burdened by the loss of Mr. Miyagi, and he deep down feels lost, and even though he seems to be happy, beneath the surface things really aren't all as they seem. It's quite powerful how much we feel for these two main characters. I love that they make us feel something so strong for these two here. LaRusso does have a few bad members in the family, and I found myself not really liking many of them, even on a slight level. Sure, I still feel for Daniel, but LaRusso's family aren't the best, like Louie. The LaRussos are judging Johnny, as the saying goes, judging a book by its cover. They also can't seem to move on from the past, and this is awful to me, because people do change over time, and they just aren't giving Johnny a fair chance, and very much don't know both sides of the story. I know Lawrence isn't the best either, and the stepfather is awful, even from the hints that we have gotten from mentions and flashbacks. But yes, I do very much feel for Johnny, as much as it is odd to say. I sort of can relate to him. He has had a rough life, and a rough one family-wise. I very much can relate to the family issues myself. I will not go that far in here, but when Johnny was trying to make amends in his life, it really moved me. I had my eyes open to my own life on this. Sure, I am young and all, but seeing him try to change for the better has motivated me to at least try. I know I may not be the best at all times, I own up to that, but I really do want to make a change, even if it takes small steps at first. I know I'm glancing over many parts myself, but I feel the main story and arc centers around Johnny and his life. Sure, there is Daniel as well, but Johnny's side has really moved me more here. They are excellently written and such wonderful yet powerful bits of entertainment to watch. Johnny may seem entirely bad and have no redeeming qualities, but he is honestly quite misunderstood. The first series wraps up at the karate tournament, which after many rounds ends up in a final between Johnny's student, Miguel, and LaRusso's student, Robbie. Yes, Robbie is Johnny's son, even though they have grown apart, and seriously watch the episodes leading up to this final episode. Oh, it's such an amazing story. Again, quite a few mature themes are portrayed, so be warned. The tournament ends with Miguel of Cobra Kai winning using dirty moves, even as Johnny really didn't want him to. This shows Johnny truly cares for his son, and he really is trying hard to make amends between them. He really is trying to turn things around in his life. I feel Daniel, as much as it's odd to say after the films, is really the bad guy. He isn't really evil or anything. However, he really doesn't understand what Johnny has been going through his whole life, and he still holds quite the grudge, even as Johnny is really trying hard to make a change. He even keeps making attacks against Johnny and issuing threats. So I so hope Daniel can somehow sit down and talk it out with Johnny. The grudge they have and the rivalry that continues here, I hope it gets resolved. I truly hope so. Both of them have so much in common, and Johnny has been so misunderstood and is a product of his environment growing up. I really hope they can mend their ties together in the second series. The final episode, I feel, has a different overall feel compared to the rest of the show, but it really improves by the end with Johnny's side of things. Well, I guess I should make mention there is major hinting at a second series in the end, sequel baiting if you will, with Daniel wanting to teach Robbie at Miyagi's old dojo. I'm interested in the second series, though I'm not sure I'll be able to watch it yet. It's so far away, 2019. But from this first series alone, it is some of my favorite entertainment in a long time. The ending where Johnny's old sensei comes back is quite the shock to me, and this doesn't bode well, I fear. He wasn't the best of people, and now he's back in Johnny's life. This will be interesting to see where this leads in series 2, but I'm sure it can't be good. If you vaguely remember The Karate Kid or have never seen any of the movies, I do believe this series does great on its own. Knowing the movies, however, it adds an extra layer to everything. No extra sheen added as a movie may, glossing over things to fit a film. No, this series goes quite in depth. Seriously, I don't want to mention all too much myself. I feel you should give the series a try. The first 2 episodes are on YouTube, as is for free. Check the series out as one of the most enjoyable things I have watched in years. I haven't been this emotionally invested in a while with the show, and as it's my first time watching a YouTube Red show, I'd say this one, at least, was excellent. Do check it out for yourself. I will link the first episode down below for you to watch yourself. This does bring us to the end of my brief, or hopefully brief, overview of the YouTube Red series Cobra Kai, a continuation of the Karate Kid storyline. I generally very much enjoyed it. Really is some of the best I've seen in years for entertainment overall. I know there is much more I could have talked about, but most of it I feel resolves itself or minor subplots. I only wanted to focus on the main arc here in this video as it impacted me the most by far. But yes, I hope you have enjoyed yourselves. If you liked the video, then leave a like. If you want to tell me your thoughts on the show itself, please do tell. I want to hear. If you want to see more of my stuff, subscribe. You know, typical stuff. But yes, this has been Sensei Natty, and I wish you all a very good day.